Welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. I'm Kamiko Love from thebudgetmom.com, and today we are doing a full budget recap for my November budget. So what does recap and closing out your budget really mean? Today we're going to be looking at my real numbers and where my dollars went in the month of November. How much did I save and did I reach my financial goals? So closing out your budget and recapping a month is all about not just blindly following a budget. You did all the hard work. You created your budget for November. You took the time to track your expenses and your spending. Don't just leave it behind while you move on to the next month. Your spending is telling you something, and that's what this is all about. It's figuring out what those numbers are telling you. So I start with my expense trackers. Now, I'm a manual tracker, and my expense trackers look like this. I have a separate expense tracker for anywhere in my life there is money movement, and that is in two different places. My checking account, which I receive income and I pay my bills. And then there's cash spending. Now I'm an all cash spender and an all cash user, and I use the cash envelope method. So my checking account expense tracker and my cash expense tracker. Now, this is what my cash spending looked like in the month of November. I use the highlighter method, which means that anywhere there is like transactions in my expense tracker, I highlight certain colors. So for example, all of my food expenses are in this light blue. All of my orange is insurance purchases, fun is green, utilities the pink, and so on and so forth. I don't really believe in using electronic apps or programs when it comes to tracking your spending. Why is that? For me, one of the biggest aha moments I discovered on my financial journey was the awareness that writing things down brought to my life. It made my spending real. And not only that, I found that when I used online applications for tracking my spending, I spent more time fixing what they automatically categorize my spending for me rather than just me doing it myself. It would have saved a lot more time. I've used certain apps. I've used the Mint app, YNAB, and they just didn't work for me. Maybe it's because I'm a visual person. What keeps me stimulated and motivated is seeing visual things like this. So in the month of November, I had a couple of sources of income. I used some holiday savings. Now, in November, I used Black Friday, what I categorize as holiday savings, as well as Christmas savings. And so I still have today in my wallet my Black Friday envelope and my Christmas envelope. Now, because I decided to use this savings that I saved in prior months, I have to count it as income in the month of November because I'm spending it. So you can see that here in my expense trackers. I also made $15 from Facebook Marketplace in the month of November. I actually ended up selling some unused yoga equipment. So I also had, if you come to, now that's the cash income that I had. I had my paychecks from my business, as well as I deposited all my change. Now, every single year in the month of November, I take all the change all the spare change that I've saved throughout the year, and I bring it down to my bank. I deposit that into my checking account, and I make a savings contribution to my son's College America account, his college savings. So you can see that on my expense tracker here. On 11/7, I went to the bank and I had $235 in change that I ended up depositing. And then right here on 11/25 is when that check was cleared by my investment company. So they cancel each other out. Income minus expenses equals zero. Those two transactions cancel each other out. So first step, you cannot close out your budget unless you've tracked your spending. I use 3 worksheets to close out my budget. They're called the Where Did My Money Go worksheets. The first one is my monthly budget category and breakdown. Now, here's all my budget categories for my budget and all the colors for those categories. I also have a holiday category in my budget for any type of holiday spending. If it's in pink, I'm over budget, and if it's green, I'm under budget. Now, I am a paycheck budgeter, which means that I budget my money every single time I receive a paycheck. And for over 9 years, that was twice a month. It was on the 5th and the 20th. Since becoming self-employed in February, I now get paid once a month, which is on the 1st of every month. But even when I was paid 2 times a month versus now, I still had the same monthly budget limits. So I assign $400 a month for food. Now, when I say month, it doesn't necessarily mean from the first to the last day of the month. Your budget month is all dependent on your tracking period. Now, what do I mean your tracking period? I get a ton of questions about this, so let me just show you my November calendar. Now, my tracking period is from the day I get paid on the 1st to the last day of the month, which is the 30th. But what happened when I was getting paid twice a month on the 5th and the 20th, which is right here? My tracking period, I chose to still do it from the 1st to the last day of the month. It just meant that I was rolling over any unused income in November to the following month in December to use for the first couple of days of bills until I got paid again on the 5th. But maybe you're the type of person where in your mind, it makes more sense for your tracking period to be your first paycheck of the month to the first paycheck of the following month. Not necessarily just a 30-day period, but it's essentially your budgeting month. So you should have a clear idea of not just how much you're spending in each category every single time you get paid, but you should also have a good idea how much you want to spend and have a budgeting limit for your budgeting month. Now for insurance, that $750 budget is for me. My fund is $100 a month. Utility is $400. I was over budget in 2 areas, my utilities and my insurance. Insurance, I was only off by $5, but my utility, I was off by $195. We actually added some things to my phone bill for work that caused it to increase. We assigned a new line for Ryan, my new assistant. So it should be going back down a little bit in the coming months, but this was just the initial changes. So that's why I know immediately why I was over in my utility category. My total monthly income was $7,476. Now, before I get blasted with a bunch of people saying like, that's, you make so much money, that seems so high, it's really important to keep in mind that your total monthly income is not just earned income. Now, for example, I had a starting balance of $2,480. What is that starting balance? I had money left over in my checking account that I did not use in the month of October. So I rolled it over into November. Now my incoming income was all of those things that I said. It was the savings that I used for my holiday savings. It was the change that I ended up bringing down and depositing at the bank. It was my paycheck. It was the money I made off Facebook Marketplace. It's child support, it's alimony, it's gift cards, it's any type of savings that you're using that you saved in the prior years. That is incoming income. So it's not just my paycheck. So your starting balance, which is the money you have left over unused on the first day of your tracking period from the last month. You're gonna roll it over into the new month so you can use it and spend it. And then my incoming income, which gives me my total monthly income, I had 15% I was able to save from my income in the month of November. I spent 12% on holiday shopping, which was Black Friday and Christmas. And then I saved about 12% for housing costs. Now, my household includes my rent, as well as like cleaning supplies, bathroom supplies, toilet paper, paper towels, that type of thing. So this, where did my money go? Monthly budget category breakdown. If you're using the Budget by Paycheck workbook, this is all about where did your dollars go? Awareness. That is the first step in my budgeting method, is being aware of where every single one of your dollars is going. The next one is your monthly debt and savings breakdown. Now, out of the $7,476 of income, I saved $1,156, which is roughly about 15% of my income. It's great to know how much I save, but you want to know, what are you saving for? This worksheet, the monthly debt and savings breakdown, is all about prioritizing your financial goals, and is your spending aligning with your financial goals? You want to make sure that where your dollars are going and all the many places that it goes every single month, you want to make sure that any leftover income after paying bills, your surplus income, is going to the right things and the things that matter most to you. So out of the savings, I save for sinking funds, my house, car maintenance fund, and my son's college fund. Now, 42% of the money that I saved went towards my house savings goal. And that is my biggest priority. So as you can see, my spending aligns with that. The next huge savings category I had was my son's college fund. And we'll be talking a little bit in 2020 about how one of my new savings goals is to increase my son's college savings contributions. So that's why that was a big, huge thing. And I also had that change that I used to make a contribution for his college account. So this is all about, is your spending aligning with your financial goals? The next one is my monthly spending comparison. How much did you spend this month compared to last month, and why is that important? It's important because it's going to tell you if you're reaching short-term financial goals that you are setting for yourself and your budget. For example, maybe last month you said to yourself, geez, my food budget is really, really high this month. I'm going to challenge myself to decrease my food budget next month. Did you follow up on that? Are you holding yourself accountable? Are you making sure that you're hitting those short-term goals that you're setting for yourself? So if it is in green, I spent less than last month. And if it's in red, I spent more than. Now, you can see that a lot of them are green. I spent less than I did last month. Why is that? Because I had a decreased income change. So my income decreased by $3,690 from last month. And you might be saying, well, geez, that's a huge, huge change in your income. Well, that's because I used a whole bunch of vacation savings in the month of October. I was traveling a lot. This month I wasn't traveling. I didn't use any of that vacation savings for income. But if your income is increasing or decreasing, your spending should be compensating for those changes. So that's the whole point of the monthly spending comparison worksheet. Now, there is one thing I want to show you very quickly, is my spending trackers. So these are my spending trackers and goal trackers. I update these every single month. Now, as you guys know, I hit my $400,000 savings goal for my house last month. I'll be talking a little bit shortly, and probably the next couple of weeks, a little bit more about my house savings goals and why I'm thinking about making some changes to that. But I did hit that goal, and we are in the process of looking for land right now, and I will be updating you on all of the house purchase and building whole home dream journey probably in the next couple weeks on my Instagram. This is where I am with my sinking funds. Now, sinking funds. Sinking funds are something where you save a little bit every single month for a dedicated purpose or goal. I have 10 sinking funds that I'm working on. Valentine's Day, 4th of July, my boyfriend's birthday, my son's birthday, Christmas, back to school, clothing, and puppy fund. And so that's what I currently have going on right now. And this is where I am in the progress of all of my sinking funds. Do you notice this tracker is for 2020? This is correct. I have already almost 4 of my savings goals for 2020. I'm already almost hitting all of those. It's because I started saving last year for those, a little bit every single month. And as you can see, it can make some pretty drastic changes in your life for the better, being financially prepared and not depending or relying on debt to have and live the life that you want. And that's what these sinking funds can really do. It's what's really helped me So that's where I am with my sinking funds. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is my yearly spending overview. So if you're looking at the Budget by Paycheck workbook, it's all by month. And it's great to track and see your finances month to month. But what's really important and something you don't want to skip on is noticing trends in your finances. And one of the ways and things and how I see that is by looking at a yearly spending overview. This does a couple of different things. Have you ever just been sitting there like on your couch one day and you're like eating dinner and you're like, I wonder how much I spent on food last year? Or someone asks you a question that brings up this question in your mind. Like, I asked myself, like, I wonder how much I spent on clothing last year. Or I wonder how much I spent on fun activity last year. Or how much I spent on all of my holiday spending last year. That's what the yearly spending overview does. So up here at the top, I have bit by month. And I have my income and then all of the budget categories that I spend on throughout the year. And I write every single month how much I've spent in each one of those categories. It's great for noticing trends. I mean, you can see, have you ever asked yourself, I wonder how much I should assign for my food budget? If you did this, just looking at my food expenses, I can see from month to month, I'm consistently around $380 to about $420 a month. It allows me to create and tweak my budget in the future to really make it work for my realistic life. So I look at those trends. And then when you get here after December, I'll be able to know exactly how much I spent on food for the entire year. That's huge. And then I have all my expenses, what they add up to, and then if I'm rolling over any leftover income into the following month. The same goes with certain balances. It's really important to notice trends in your savings balance, in your debt balance, in your retirement balance, in your net worth. These are things in our life that we want to either go up or down in value. Your retirement balance, of course, you want to increase. Your net worth, you want to increase. Your debt balance, your overall debt balance, you want to see decrease. And then what does this really tell you? It kind of has a lot to do with your net worth. And even though your net worth is tracked here on the page, your net worth is so important because it doesn't just tell you your assets or your liabilities. It takes a snapshot of your entire financial picture at one point in your life. It's both. It's your assets minus your liabilities, which truly is your net worth. So my savings balance, it's really crazy looking at this. Like if you are having a hard time, hey Miko, I'm having a hard time seeing progress in my financial journey. Can you go back 12 months and look at where you were 12 months ago? I bet you would see progress from there to now. So for instance, in January, I had about a savings balance of about $15,000. Today, I have a savings balance of $422,000. In January, my net worth was just about $164,000. Today, it's at $933,000. My retirement balance in January was $34,000. Now today, it's $55,000. My savings balance and my net worth are things that I like to see on graph form because even though, it's kind of sporadic, if you put a straight line, you always want to see an increase or an upward slope to your line with these two things. Now, if I did have debt would be something I would want to see on a visual chart. I don't have any debt. I'm debt-free as of last year. So right now I'm focusing on my assets and what I own versus what I owe. So these are the two yearly trackers that I really like to use. If you have a version of the Budget by Paycheck workbook, this one or the yellow version or any of the versions in the past, you have access to BBP Central. And in BBP Central, I actually started something really exciting for 2020, my new trackers. So I am using the bill tracker that is in BBP Central, which is basically the free online platform for support for the Budget by Paycheck workbook. If you need the password for BBP Central and you bought a version of the workbook and you don't have that, you can always email me. I'll put my email address in the description of this video. So I have my bill tracker, all the different bills I have to pay, the amounts due, how I'm paying them, if they're on auto pay, and then every single month I just check off a box when it gets paid. That way you always know if you're paying your bills on time and keeping progress and track of your bills. I haven't started filling out these yet, but these are the yearly spending overview worksheets that we just went over. This is the new version. So you have your spending overview and your yearly balance overview. Here are my new sinking funds savings visuals. Now, I have 8 going for 2020 and they look like this. This is where I'm at with my goals. I am going into 2020 with this much already saved for my sinking funds. So for my son's birthday, that's in August, I already have almost $200, my $200 goal saved. And so I have these filled out and ready to go for the new year as well. So these are my new trackers for 2020, and that is a full budget recap for my November budget. If you found this video helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe.